Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the ADK channel. Today we are checking out the new music video from the band The Birthday Massacre. The song is Precious Hearts and came off of their most recent album. Let's go check it out. We'll share our thoughts and feelings at the end. There'll be no pausing or talking. Let's go. Okay, so there we go. Birthday Massacre and Precious Hearts. I'm going to kick it to you, Kirk. Off you. Over to you.
Yeah, do you remember the only song I'd heard prior to this album the other week was it called "I'm in the Dark" from
Yes.
2000? I loved it,
Yeah.
didn't I? I thought when you showed me that, I was like, definitely going to check this band out. So I did make a point 3 weeks ago of listening to this album, and I was out countryside walk, didn't care what the song titles were, and it was a highly enjoyable experience listening to it from start to finish. And I think what's unique about this band, when you listen to that, she's called Chibi. She's
Chibi,
called
yeah.
Chibi. What a performer! But she really, to quote one of my favorite Japanese authors, Yukio Mishima, he describes this woman in one of his novels. He says she glittered with a debauched loneliness, and she does when you watch her on stage. But what's really interesting is there's no self-pity in that song. When you listen to that chorus, she's talking about humanity, not herself, that I'm invisible, no one can see me. I think she's talking about how as a civilization we're all sleepwalking, into digital enslavement, whatever it's going to be, as a metaphor. And there's a real good slow motion element to that song. Imagine you've had a chaotic day, your heartbeat's going, you just can't relax. I think if you just sat down, put some headphones in and listened to that, it would calm you down. But it's got enough poignancy and emotion to it where you actually think, yeah, do you know what? I need to step back. I'm taking things too seriously. Yeah, ironically, I'm listening to this song that's really pulling at my heartstrings as well. Musically, yeah, there actually is a bit more of that 80s synth pop, almost what I would call the wrong era of Depeche Mode when they were crap on the first two albums, especially that synthesizer at the beginning that sounds like an analog keyboard trying to play a brass instrument. Don't bother with that. Dreadful idea. But you soon forget it, don't you? Because it's so well written, and that synth bass as well. Yeah. Now, that's the correct era of Depeche Mode, 1988, Music for the Masses, where they're using that sound. I've always thought with this band, they're a rock band, aren't they? Look at them. Look at the way they dress. They play distorted guitars. They hold up the devil's signs. The type of people I've basically grown up with since the age of 15. There's nothing hipster about this band. They are the absolute antithesis of that. They all love their dark music. They all have probably a macabre sense of humor. I love the image, but more importantly, good songwriters. Again, she can deliver a chorus, but the verse parts were just as strong for me. So the Birthday Massacre, thumbs up. I really like what I've heard from this band.
Okay, Andy?
I honestly can't remember what we've done before on this band. I know we've covered them, but I honestly can't remember what my thoughts were. But I really enjoyed this track. I did like the intro, Kirk, the synthesizer, and throughout the the synth bass. I mean, the opening sort of passage and the chorus reminded me very much, not vocally, but certainly musically, of Music and Assembly Era Theatre of Tragedy. That's kind of the direction they were going in, on those couple of albums. I do quite like her vocals. I think I just like a little bit more. They do the job, but they're not phenomenal. I'd like them a little bit more power, a little bit more passion, but I do like them overall. The video itself, we said before we started, I like the format, behind the scenes footage, live clips all cut together, and the effect of, slowing down the footage is a good effect when used sparingly in videos. I think there weren't many shots in that video where it wasn't a slower pace than real time. That's something you can perhaps touch on today when it comes to you, but it seemed like perhaps they didn't have quite enough footage to make, to cover the whole length of the song, but it just used a little bit too much for that. And I thought, yeah, good track. And then something happened at the end. They kind of turned on the live, the recording from the mixing desk, and got the set and got the crowd applauding, and that's sound, you want to cut that bit off if you're going to release it as a music video. But as an overall track, I really enjoyed that. Surprisingly, enjoyed it. Yes.
I'll touch base on what you said about the music video. I'm guessing that it wasn't all footage from that particular song. So that
That's
they
obvious. Yeah, no.
so they've obviously used it throughout the evening. They've just cut little bits together. I actually didn't pick up about the fact they used slow mo because it didn't bother me that much because it's a live performance thing and they're not lip syncing. So I just went with the track because they're not trying to tell a story. So I'm like, I'm not paying that much attention to it. It looked fine, which is really weird.
I'm watching the video, not analysing the lyrics in the chorus like Kirk was. We approach these differently. I'm looking at the video and try and listen to the song sort of secondarily.
I was just going with how was it making me feel was the main part of how the song was. Weirdly, it's a 4-minute song, and my only negative about this track is it felt too long at 4 minutes. When it broke down into that slow, like spoken word bit, and then it kicks back in, it felt like it should have just gone into a double chorus instead of that slow word bit, and then that would have been it. And it's weird because it's only 4 minutes long, so it's not a long song at all, but it felt long for me. But in the sense of where you were talking about, if you were out for a walk, it wouldn't, and you were just listening to it, it wouldn't feel like a long song at all. But when you're watching it on the screen, I'm like, okay, so it's a fairly simplistic intro, simplistic verse, simplistic chorus, back to the intro verse. I was like, yeah, I've got the routine. It's already ingrained in me by the time we got to the end of this first chorus. You're like, I know what's coming. But that's fine. I actually had no problem at all with any of that because I actually really enjoyed the track. For me, the Birthday Massacre is a band that reminds me of the 90s and films like The Craft and The Crow, and films and songs like Burn by The Cure, and that whole element. There is elements of The Cure in the Birthday Massacre. You can hear that, and it's that whole texture, theatricality in the sense of not theatricality and then putting masks on and pretending to be anything, although they do that in videos, but it feels like every song is taking you on a storytelling journey rather than just here's a song, we're going to play you some music. Everything feels like it's adding to the story. And so when you listen to an album, I think when I've listened to the Birthday Massacre, it's not a song where I pick out an individual track of an album. It's one of the few times where I will actually put a whole album on and listen to a whole album will be the Birthday Massacre. And there's only probably one other album that I've done that on. And it's Marillion. So Marillion is another band that I will listen, like Script for a Jester's Tear, I will listen to the whole album because concept, listening to it, you need to hear it as a big piece. And Marillion do that really well, and Birthday Massacre is the only other band that I can say I do that with. But I thought it was a great track. Just felt a little long for whatever reason when I was watching it. And weirdly, I didn't notice anything in the video, but obviously it was something that Andy could pick up.
Can I just come back to something Andy said as well? I understand what you're saying, Andy, about the voice. She's just using what's called the head voice, isn't she? You said you wanted a bit more power. What you're wanting is like almost a bit of hysteria, not necessarily aggression, but coming, from almost from the stomach, don't you? I don't think that music's suitable, so it works for me. The mood that this band convey musically doesn't sound like these two songs I'm going to mention, but they capture the same mood. Tears for Fears, Mad World. The story behind that is that Roland Orthlabal is in an office and he's looking down on Bath city centre and he can just see cars everywhere like insects, and he's just thinking this world is crazy, that people can be caught up in this chaos without knowing it. And then the other song it reminds me of, because I used to do this in my 20s, I'd have a hangover, regret what I'd done the night before, and I'd wake up and I'd put True Faith by New Order on. And again, that's a song that's longer than you think, but it had the opposite effect to what you said, Dave. So this was similar. I'm happy for this to go on for 5 minutes and fade out from 4 minutes 30 onwards, because I think they really are capable of capturing that unique melancholy. It's not depression. You're pensive, but you're not quite somber. And I wish as a musician, I'm not a musician anymore. When I was writing music in my early 20s, I tried to capture what they have captured in their music, and I wasn't successful. So yeah, that's quite poignant for me, that song. I've enjoyed what we've just viewed.
They do. They're very good at invoking thoughts, emotions, visualizing. Yeah, they're a very interesting band in that concept. So, and I'm glad in one case there isn't loads of other bands doing it, because then
Yeah.
you can go, well, you've got the Birthday Massacre, and that's what they do. But in another way, I'm like, I wish more bands did do it, because then there'll be more bands actually giving you this sort of concept. But there's just at least we have the Birthday Massacre doing it, which is good, because then they can corner the market.
Yeah.
Right, well, there we go. That was the Birthday Massacre and Precious Hearts. Now, as always, if you like this video, please do like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.